Hello, my fellow YouTubers. Woo! NASCAR. Welcome to leedskalnins Earth Pump. She's a bad mamma jammer. Alright guys, back to part 2. I didn't have enough video time, I guess, on my phone here. So we are going to pick up where we left off. You guys ready? So back here, where I have this section here, we are going to create a rotary gap. Yeah. So pretty much when this wheel spins, you can see it when this wheel spins, that's going to turn the lower section, and we're going to put a plate on this one, a plate on this one with diodes, and when they go by, they'll go ahead and make a spark, rotary spark. Alright, so that's that right there. Let me see, what else can we talk about? The wheel. All kinds of things. Alright, so let's start off with, what do I got going here? I got voltmeter. Let's turn the voltmeter on. Bam! Voltmeter's on. It's on millivolts. Okay? We got the ground in my hands. The positive is connected to this alligator clip, which runs in and just sits in the little batch I got going on in there. I know I never talked about this on my YouTube videos, but also for the last 2 years I make distilled water, and I put 65 minerals in there, and it happens to be the same minerals that our body is made up from. And I also, because when you distill it, you take all the minerals out of the water, and I put those minerals in there. Then also I freeze it. Then I hit it with a negative ion charge through magnetic forms, and then I defrost it. And then I put oxygen into it. And then there's one more thing I do to it, but I'm not going to say, which obviously keeps it to be a negative ion charge even when it's not influenced through a magnetic form. So that's what that is made up, that liquid down there. And I think it has a lot to do with this. It's being a negative ion charged product. But then also there's oil in there. There's a certain type of oil in there too, because I've done my research on oil, and if you notice that color in that oil, it's not a regular oil like motor oil color, okay? So it's got some things about it. Plus, I took some metal shavings from some drilling and threw it in there. And pretty much you can see it is inside Ed's big round wheel of positive and negative and positive and negative and positive and negative 24 strong magnets. Want to see? Let me see a little something. I never really talked about the magnets. What am I going to grab? Let me see. This is a heavy bar. Look at this guy. Bam! Right? You know, so got some strength coming out of these guys. This thing is heavy. This is the thing that goes to the PMH over there. It usually sits right there. The PMH, we'll talk about that in a couple videos. That's going to be our pulse. That's going to help with the pulse. And yeah, baby. So we got some strong magnets, guys. Okay. Let's move on past the magnets. let's go ahead and get the voltmeter, because I want to do some things here and show you guys. Let me just stick that up there so it's not touching nothing. I need the ground. There's millivolts set up. Pretty much we're going to touch the can, and let's see what happens to the voltmeter. Just touching the can. Okay, and then we're going to go ahead and touch the copper. Okay, then we're going to come over here, and what we're going to do is touch the capacitor negative rail, okay? All right, so basically the capacitor negative rail is taking it out of a millivolt situation. So pretty much from there, you're talking big time, boy. And that's a negative rail. Now if you go to the positive rail and touch, positive rail, just touching the pipe coming out of copper. You know, you're just talking some action up there, but not like the negative rail. Negative rail sending it out. Bam! Okay, so let's take it over to ground over here, and it is skyrocketing, but it's not throwing it out in millivolts, but it's working. Let's work our way up here. So we got top of the ground here. You can see what's going on there. And then let me see, we get maybe both. Who knows? There. All right, so we're going to come over here, touch this section. You see millivolts going there. We're going to come over here and we're going to touch this section. And drop it down a little bit, huh? And then over here. See, over here it goes up, comes down. So something's going on over here. You can see we're saying that we know that that liquid's a positive charge. Well, it was a negative charge, but it's showing up positive, okay? So maybe it's monopolar. Maybe it's both. But anyway, let's go back to the voltmeter. Let's touch over here. We can see that this is running negative and that's running positive because the voltmeter is calling it out. Now we're going to go over to the chain. And now the chain is running top of the chain. We're going to work our way down the chain a little bit. And let's jump over to this section. On down. We're going to work our way down the chain. Alright, so now we're going to jumping up a little bit. Working down the chain. I'm just hitting one leg from right there. And pretty much you can see it picking up a little bit. Yep, she's picking up a little bit. It's picking up. I just got it sitting on this chain here. One single chain. And it's coming up. And so then we're going to come over here. We're going to touch. If you notice, got all four of these bolts that come in through the base or through the motor block. We're all connecting, so you can go over there and you can see it's coming up. Each one of these. I check each one, each pole here, or each one of these bolts to see if there's any difference in these guys. They're all showing up to be negative because I'm touching the bolt and it's not showing up there. Let's touch this top rail here and we're going to see, and that's obviously it's up there and it's still showing that it's a negative charged. Okay, and then let's go ahead and touch this bottom rail and we're going to see that that's jumping up also over millivolts. And then let's go ahead and touch the copper that I have in between the two metal rings here, and you can see you're sitting with also a negative charge. Let's go over to the capacitor, blowing over but still negative charge. So let's go over here. We're touching one of the magnets and it's blowing up over millivolts. Then we're touching the other magnet here And she's showing a lot of action going on it. It's moving around. So that's in the liquid, okay? So what I want to do now is disconnect the liquid. And just move that out of the way. Bam. And let's go ahead and keep the positive loose. Let's go ahead and connect the negative just to the bottom of the capacitor, in between the capacitor and the middle. There's something there. That's good. Yeah, right. Okay, so it looks like it's in there. So here we go. We got positive in my hand this time, and we got the voltmeter. Okay, so right now we are touching the top of the bolt. You got a little action there. All right, so we're touching the top now of the clover ring, and you can see that it's showing up as, it's not a positive, but it's a negative. So it's a negative charge on that top clover ring. Okay, guys? And then we're gonna go down to this bottom rail over here. I'm gonna touch that. And then we are also a negative charge. And we're gonna go inside here to the copper. And you can see that our electrons are in there, our little buddies, because it is not showing a negative, it's showing a positive. Alright, so I think what we need to do is from this point, I wanted to, the other thing I wanted to talk about. Well, I always thought that, not having a plan with Ed's wheel, because I didn't, understand exactly what it was for and what it's doing. I figured I'd come up with a plan, and pretty much with the plan, this drawing came out of it. And this is what I have for as a plan. Okay, guys? So, what I have here is this capacitor up here coming down this metal tube, okay? And there's going to be one of these guys, okay? Not with that wire, but it's going to be an air coil going down the center of this iron, and the top of the coil is going to be connected to the positive of the capacitor going down through the tube. And at the bottom here, I'm going to drill a hole and have the bottom of that coil come out. And it's going to go to a bolt. And so right here, we're going to create a spark gap. And we'll have adjustments on there with the acorns, and it'll go to the motor block. So that's that one there. And then the second one is going to be lined up, because see these magnets here? That right there. We're going to say that is the plus, okay? And whatever it is, plus or minus. But just going to say it's the plus. So if that's the plus, straight over here on this pole here, the negative needs to be hitting on this side right here. We're going to have the same setup. That pole over here, capacitor on top, with the coil going down the bottom, with another spark gap going right off of this here. We're going to do a spark gap, okay? And that's going to be spark gap number 2. And then the most important coil is going to be the motor block, because the motor block itself is going to be the third coil. And the job of this apparatus here is going to be to siphon. We are going to siphon energy from the ground, the biggest dynamo we have, free, natural, and we are going to siphon up pump 1, pump 2. And we're going to go through this process, but The ultimate goal here is to come up, come over, come back down.